Hello, everyone. Ruby Ravel back again after a protracted hiatus. I'm afraid I had a terrible sore throat, which I am still recovering from, as well as being too busy with my day/night job for such stellar superfluities as these. However, hoping to get back into the rhythm of making regular videos again now. Today, we're going to talk about Venus's conjunction with Pluto, which is occurring right now, which will last until January 9th, 2023. Now, conjunctions are very important aspects because they symbolize when two stellar bodies come together. This is after having traversed a whole 360-degree cycle of the zodiac away from one another. So when two planets come together in a conjunction, it's a pivotal moment where the ending of one cycle finishes and paves the way for another to begin. So really momentous things can occur there. But I wanted to begin by exploring the nature of Pluto and what it means in terms of its symbolic connection to the underworld. So Pluto, whose name means wealth, wealthy ruler, was the deity of the underworld in Greco-Roman mythology. Now, we tend to look at the underworld in a very negative light because of Christianity, which imagined it as this subterranean hell of total suffering. And while that is one of the aspects of the underworld, more generally, the underworld is a symbol of what is hidden but not below the earth. If you think about the soil and all of the insects and things that live within it, you think about the deep water sources and wells and caverns and mysterious hidden cave systems that we've barely explored that all lie below the Earth's crust, as well as all the moving flows of molten lava. You know, there's a lot happening below the Earth all the time, which is essential for the Earth's continuation and survival, which we have no awareness of in our basic life. And it just really emphasizes this message that a lot of power comes from things being unseen because all things begin in the underworld. So if Hades, if the underworld, if Pluto, if hell, whatever, it was a place where souls were sent after they died, it was also a kind of a womb below the earth, a place where souls would reside and gestate embryonically before they were ready to be transformed and once again be reborn as new souls. And so Pluto rules that idea of a transformation taking place unseen, off from the stage. You know, it's like the first growth of a tree doesn't occur visibly, but is all just happening below ground, is that germination of a seed that is putting roots. You know, the first beginning of a baby all happens in that unseen womb before there's necessarily any outward signs. So when Pluto is in contact with the planet, it often draws us into an unseen part of ourselves. All of those things that we usually squash down into the worlds of our minds and our hearts comes to the surface during this time, and we have to figure out a way of navigating it. Now, particularly when we're talking about Venus, which is connected to our relationships with others, you know, our relationships are full of many difficulties. And when we're relating with other people, we're always trying to, if we're acting in a truly Venusian manner, we're always trying to work out this compromise that I love you, you love me, and together we've got to try and create a relationship that nourishes and nurtures us both. And that often requires a lot of compromise. But sometimes, I think especially when Pluto's on the way, if we want something and we want it deeply and obsessively and don't feel we can let go of it, we might feel we have to resort to sneakier methodologies to get what we want. We have to work at things below ground rather than just being open and manifest about them. So there's a lot of room for brooding and secrecy when Venus and Pluto come together, and especially at the exact moment of conjunction is very often when those things that have been kept secret, when those things that have been kept below the earth find the pressure too intense and they suddenly come to the surface, you know. So all those frustrations that we experience in our relationships, all those jealousies, those subtle power plays, those resentments and frustrations and secret desires that we push down so much of the time just to maintain that harmony in the status quo. Around the time of the conjunction, those things become too intense and too powerful to hold back anymore. They need to be purgated. They need to be released. Otherwise, they'll just keep sitting there festering in us. You know, there has to be this kind of volcanic eruption, this release of what has been kept too long in the earth. Um, and so there's always that conflict, I find, when there is that plutonic aspect, that in one sense we have to be able to sit with our feelings and brood with them and control them and not just respond madly to every last thing, because feelings can be dangerous, and certainly we are aware of the most dangerous parts of our feelings during a Venus Pluto conjunction. um, However, if we keep them too hidden, then they're likely to come out in the worst possible way. So really, when Venus is conjunct Pluto, we have to get to the roots of something. We have to look at the hidden depths of whatever it is that we're obsessed over. If there's just something we're holding on to and we can't let it go, just some desire, some yearning, some fear, some crazy scheme, we've got to figure out where it's really coming from. We have to trace things via those tendriller roots back to their depths and figure out what they're really saying. Um, yeah. All right, that's enough for me now. I feel like I should probably do a part two for this because, like I said, my energy levels are still recovering from being unwell. But just to touch base and have a bit more astrological, symbological waffling. Here we are. Much love to you during this festive season.